What's up, everybody? Tim Anderson here, aka Renville, the bearded dwarven princess, and we're back talking more D&D. Today, for me, I think the most exciting announcement to come out of all of the D&D press stuff, aside from the Dragonlance campaign finally getting a launch date, which is so cool because I can't wait to live stream that, is the announcement that yes, in fact, Dungeons and Dragons is going to have a virtual tabletop program, and we kind of knew that this was the case when we talked about the purchase of D&D Beyond earlier this year. That video link is going to be up here somewhere for those of you who want to watch that at your leisure. But when they brought D&D Beyond in-house, part of that was the knowledge that they were working on a virtual tabletop program of some type, but no one knew what it was going to look like. We now have images which show us what it looks like, and basically it's Talespire Eat Your Heart Out, because they're taking what Talespire had attempted to do, and I would argue has done, but to a limited indie development team standard, whereas Wizards of the Coast has infinite buckets of dragon horde money from the fact that Dungeons and Dragons is like the most successful thing in the whole world over the last few years, and this revival on Twitch and YouTube and so on and so forth. And all the OGL stuff and SRDs, which has allowed people like myself to take the 5th edition and use it as a rule set for worlds like our own, the world of the Weave and the Void, or all these other settings that people have used, like the Critical Role people or beyond. Um, so having a VTT uh, program is really cool. We're going to dive into that today here. We're going to be looking at the PC Gamer press release here, or announcement. They've got a couple of cool screenshots. They talked in this article, they talk about the software, which Wizards refers to as an early in development D&D digital play experience, which works with existing D&D Beyond digital tools, and which is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, which, according to the Wizards, is because they're going to help it make it look dope. I will say this, since I'm developing a game in Unreal 4, one of the things we've loved about Unreal 5 and what we've been looking at in terms of the next stage of the development process that we have for our future projects, Unreal 5 is leaps and bounds beyond Unreal 4. And if you've watched any of the behind the scenes footage of what they're doing with shows like The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett, Unreal 5 is being used for a lot more than just video games. It's sort of breaking boundaries across all of these entertainment spaces. And when you look at a video game like this being developed in Unreal 5, it speeds up that development process by a factor of, I would argue, times 20, because the lighting is so much better, the shading is so much better. It's all pre-done and pre-baked, and all these cool things that really help it look better and make it faster in terms of the development time and also performance. That you don't have to do as much optimization as you would used to have to do in the past. So the fact that they're developing this in Unreal Engine 5 means that this program is going to end up looking absolutely triple A quality. This is going to blow people's minds when it comes out of the water. We can already see these early alpha screenshots, and they are looking absolutely amazing. Now, one of the things from my perspective is, as cool as all of this sounds and everything else, I'd like to know whether or not I'm going to be able to play my homebrew things within their new setting, or if it's going to be relegated to only officially licensed D&D Beyond products. Because one of the things that we've all loved about 5th edition is the fact that you can take the SRD and the OGL, and we can use that and create our own 5th edition worlds for sale, and to go out there and create our own things that we can use. And we've seen other companies do that to great success. But I know using, we've used Fantasy Grounds for a while now. We really love Fantasy Grounds, and I've done a video actually on why I think Fantasy Grounds is the best VTT program out there over Roll20 and Foundry VTT. But at the end of the day, Fantasy Grounds, Foundry VTT, and Roll20 are all 2D spaces. They don't offer us that 3D environment, which is what Talespire had offered. But one of the limitations of Talespire was the fact that it just didn't have a lot of existing modules to plug and play. And that's going to be where what they're working on here is to give all of the D&D Beyond content plug and play adaptability and be able to plug in. Now, can we do our own stuff on there? I'm really curious about that. We're going to talk about that in the rest of this video. But before we get back to the article, I got to do my call to action, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a full-time YouTuber, and this is how I make my living. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you can continue to get updates like this in the future. And don't forget that if you do want to support the channel, you can do so in a variety of ways. First and foremost, with the super thanks, which is right down there. There's a button you can click that says thanks. And you can do $2, $5, $10, whatever you want to plug in there. You can also join as a member of the Adventurers Guild down there, which is $2.99 a month, and it's the membership option for YouTube. And you can also tune into live streams every single morning and every single evening. We play lots of RPGs, MMORPGs, we do tabletop stuff and beyond. And if you're during a live stream, you can do super chats and stickers to support the channel. And of course, because I did mention at the beginning of this, we have our own 5th edition world. It's that world, the world of the Weave and the Void, back there behind me. And we do stream that every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central over on Twitch, the Weave and the Void Twitch channel. And we also have, along with that 5th edition tabletop world, it is a setting that also has a point and click adventure game and a book series, all of which are being produced and delivered through our Patreon page at patreon.com/wandering hermits. So if you want to check that out, it's what I'm working on with my wife and my brother and friends like Nathan Napalm, Battycoat and Sparrow's daughter Becca, and more. Check that stuff out. In the meantime, though, let's get back to this article and talk about this a little bit more. This is obviously an early in development D&D digital play experience, Wizards says. And It says it's going to have all the tools you need to play a D&D adventure, working together with existing tools developed for mobile and PC. It says here you might buy a pre-made adventure on D&D Beyond, possibly bundled with a physical version, and get that playset on digital with terrain and NPCs, for example. You could then use it as is or take it apart and reuse those digital assets and rules for custom scenarios. I really hope that that's the case, because if they're going to have this developed so that we can use it for our homebrew campaigns as well as official D&D campaigns, this is going to change the landscape in terms of what we can do for tabletop. Because if they're going to create a plug and play experience that allows us to do 3D environments, and they have a tool set that is as user friendly as something as like Fantasy Grounds, where we can have all the combat and things be automated and all these other features, that's going to make this the preferred platform of choice for everyone. And it would be the smart move on their part to do this, considering they took the time and money to purchase D&D Beyond and bring it in house, because they really want to bring everybody together in one space. It's a very good monetary idea. They said they use a tilt shift camera, which shows that people understand this wasn't a video game but is a digital experience, and it's a virtual tabletop space that's meant to look like sets for miniatures, not real spaces. Now, of course, we know that it looks a lot like Talespire. If you've ever played Talespire, you can look at these screenshots and you can see that it looks a lot like something we're already familiar with. But again, Wizards has a budget that is infinitely larger, and they'll be able to do great things with this. Now, of course, this is still a ways out from release. We don't know what's going to happen with this, and PC Gamer does say that this isn't the first time Wizards of the Coast has attempted an online service, subscription, and digital toolset for D&D. The ill-fated D&D Insider, tools that use Microsoft Silverlight, and D&D Virtual Table were developed during the 4th edition era, but after 4 years of teasers, it was canceled before public release due to low subscription numbers. But that is not the case with D&D Beyond. As we saw during the press release when I covered that, when they did the purchase of D&D Beyond, subscriptions are freaking up. All the money it's an incredible amount of money. They're not going to be canceling this one. So, love to hear your thoughts below. What do you think about this? Till next time.